Sheikh Hasina has been found guilty. Big update coming in from Bangladesh. Sheikh Hasina has been found guilty. We're at a pivotal moment for Bangladesh, and the court has referred to the call that was given to her, with the charge being that peaceful protests had been suppressed completely and violent means had been used against the protesters. A big update coming in now. Today, ahead of the judgment as well. In fact, Sheikh Hasina had also spoken up, and she had spoken about what can be expected. But now, big update coming in. The International Crimes Tribunal has now convicted her. Senior Consulting Editor Srinjoy Chaudhary joins us on the broadcast with the details. Srinjoy, take us through what happened in the hearing. What are the details?
Yes, she has been found guilty on 3 counts, 32 articles 32 and so on. And the point what we are getting to hear is that if she's been found guilty, then the one thing remains to be done. And that thing, of course, is the sentence. What is the sentence going to be like? Is it going to be a death penalty? Is it not going to be a death penalty? Or this is something that is going to be decided upon, and it's going to be decided upon very soon. So we'll have to see what the death penalty thing is, whether it is a death penalty or not, or whether it's anything else. But at this point, it's very clear that this court wanted to indict her, wanted to sentence her, and wanted something similar to a very big, major sentence. We don't know what it's going to be. We don't know whether it's going to be a death penalty or not. But very, very likely that it could be. Over to you.
Okay, all right. Do stay with us. The court has said that Sheikh Hasina committed crimes against humanity by her incitement order and also failure to take preventive and punitive measures under charge 1. The court has then gone on to say the accused Sheikh Hasina committed 1 count of crimes against humanity by her order to use drones, helicopters and lethal weapons under charge number 2. Rishabh is also on the broadcast with us. And Rishabh, she has now been convicted. Would this mean that death penalty is also a possibility?
Yes, what we are given to understand that on 1 charge she has been sentenced for life, but now what we are given to understand that Sheikh Hasina has been sentenced to death. The former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, who is on self-imposed exile to India for more than last 1 year, has been sentenced to death. Remember, she has been found guilty on 5 charges, and now what we are given to understand that in an historic judgment, and this is coming in from the courtroom, in a historic judgment has concluded, and Hasina, Kamal and Mamoon had orchestrated and enabled atrocities during July-August movement. This is what the final conviction is, and she has been sentenced to death. What we are given to understand that both Sheikh Hasina and Asaduzzzaman Khan Kamal, the former Home Minister of Bangladesh, have been found guilty. The judgment is still trickling in, and now what we are given to understand that the tribunal found that the 3 leaders exercise common command responsibility over killing, torture, disappearance and arson carried out by security forces and ruling party operatives. Accepting persecution's claim, this is what the court has said, that that these operatives were working on the orders of Sheikh Hasina, and now what we are given to understand that the judgment has been delivered. The International Crime Tribunal has convicted the ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, former Home Minister Asaduzzzaman Khan Kamal, and former IGP Police Chaudhry Abdullah Al-Momin of crimes against humanity for directing and enabling the
I request you and Srinjoy to stay with us. We have a journalist from Bangladesh joining us on the broadcast, Amanur Rahman. Thank you for joining us. Firstly, Mr. Amanur Rahman, if you can give us a sense of what happened in the court, the hearing, as well as what the court has said.
Well, as I have talked with before, the court has said that Sheikh Hasina, Asaduzzzaman Kamal, and the back then IGP, 3 of them are charged with giving order, planning, and killing of the youth people in July uprising, and she and along with other 2 persons is guilty with charges, and it gives the death penalty. That's what we have just you have just seen the live broadcast, and it's telecasting in English.
Okay. So she has been found guilty of committing crimes against humanity at the Bangladesh court, sentencing Sheikh Hasina to imprisonment till natural death on the first charge. But death penalty, you mentioned, is also a possibility. That's also something that she is staring at.
Yes, it already declared. The death penalty has been declared.
Okay, death penalty has been declared already. Does she have any legal options now currently to challenge this?
Yes, it's just ICT, the International Criminal Court. After that, he has the High Court and Supreme Court division to appeal against this. So there is obviously options.
Okay, when will
This is just the first options in judicial system, the first court. After that, he can have the High Court and Supreme Court.
Okay, so this is the first court, but Srinjoy, she does have the legal option to challenge the same. But is it looking extremely grim at the moment? She does have the option, yes, of challenging it legally in a higher court. But for now, the death penalty being given to Sheikh Hasina, that has already been pronounced by the court.
See, a death penalty, anyone would be a very difficult. And in this case, she is just lucky that she is in India and she is not behind bars in Bangladesh. Because if she were behind bars in Bangladesh, then a death penalty would probably be inevitable. Yes, she would go to the High Court, she would go to the Supreme Court, but things being what they are now, of course, we can't say how the courts would have eventually looked at it. One can only speculate, but one imagines that under these circumstances, a death penalty would have been carried out. It would have taken more time. It would, yes, naturally the High Court would look at it. The Supreme Court would have looked at it. Maybe there would be an appeal to the president. All of that is there. But under these circumstances, yes, a death penalty would have been carried out. Now, of course, he's here. And as I've said before, the Prime Minister has said that Sheikh Hasina is his sister. He has referred to his bed. Now, you would throw your sister to the wolves?
Okay.
The answer very probably.
Srinjoy, your line is not clear. We'll just come back to you in just a moment as we fix that. But Mr. Amanur Rahman, what are the judicial options available, the judicial process? How could this play out after this, especially considering Sheikh Hasina is not in Bangladesh at the moment? How long could it take? What is the process in Bangladesh?
It actually you can determine the time, what will be the procedure timing, because it all depends on the government and judicial system. If the government and judicial system want to call upon the next hearing in High Court in very soon, then it will be very soon, within 1 month or 2 months. But if they want it to delay, it could be 1 year or 2 years, and even sometimes you can get an hearing in 5 years or 6 years. So it's all depend on the judicial decisions and the government. When will she granted next hearing in High Court?
The fact that she is not in Bangladesh currently, the fact that she is in exile, is that going to affect the legal process in any way?
Well, it already affected in a way, because she did not appointed her own lawyer. The lawyer who is fighting for Hasina has been appointed or provoked by the government itself. So she did not get the chance to get her own lawyer. Okay, the lawyer who is fighting is not appointed by Sheikh Hasina herself. So obviously it's affecting.
Okay, all right. Allegations of bias. In fact, Rishabh, Sheikh Hasina, in your conversation with her as well, had made a mention of the same, and her legal team has been saying the same, that there is a political bias. And as Amanur pointed out as well, even the legal team appointed for her was not actually appointed by her. And the entire process in itself has come under question.
Well, definitely. See, first of all, the whole hearing and the verdict has taken place in absentia. Sheikh Hasina was not in Bangladesh. She was not even present in the courtroom. Sheikh Hasina, while speaking to us exclusively earlier last evening, just hours ahead of this crucial verdict, had called this whole case, charges against her, a political vendetta, and goes on to say that whatever is happening in Bangladesh is being done with a motive of malice, and what is being done in Bangladesh is being done to put under pressure the freedom, sovereignty, and the peace and sovereignty of Bangladesh is what Sheikh Hasina had said. We are waiting for further more details to come in. As of now, what we are given to understand, and this is coming in from the courtroom itself, that Bangladesh's former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has been sentenced to death for crime against humanity during July uprising last year. Former Home Minister Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal was also awarded death penalty. Remember, both of them have been found guilty on 5 charges and now have been charged under Section 32A, G, H and others of International Court Tribunal 1973 Act, and now death penalty has been awarded to her. Remember, this would be one of those rare cases in South Asia where death penalty has been awarded to a female convict for that matter. Sheikh Hasina and Asaduzzaman Khan both have categorically denied these charges and have now called this verdict farce.
Okay, all right. Let's also talk about the India question. And Shinjoy, how is that going to play out? Sheikh Hasina being in exile in the country, any move that she takes, even if to challenge, like you mentioned, she is here. How is the India question going to come in here now that she has been sentenced to death penalty in Bangladesh?
Well, 2 things. First of all, she's safe here. There's no dispute about the fact that she's entirely safe here and she is being looked after here. Her security in India is more or less guaranteed. That's the first point. The second relates to the Bangladesh government. The Bangladesh government may ask the Indian government officially to hand her over and say that, well, she has been found guilty for crimes against humanity and we want her back, please extradite her. Now, that request has not come to India as yet. We don't know when it will come, if it will come. But at this point, the general belief is that if there is such a request at any time, the answer will not be positive. It is very unlikely that she will be extradited and she will be sent back to Bangladesh. The India situation is very clear. She is unlikely to be extradited at any point because of this so-called crime against humanity. The Indian position is clear and the Bangladesh government currently knows that. Let's not forget that this is a government that was not even elected and the elections are only in February. Now, only after a new government takes over, an elected government takes over, that India can even consider looking at such a request, because this is a government that has no mandate behind it. Let's not forget that Mohammad Yunus was never elected Prime Minister of Bangladesh. He is not Prime Minister of Bangladesh. Even his designation is not Prime Minister of Bangladesh. So at this point, India will certainly not consider a request and send her back to Bangladesh. That is absolutely certain. How this pans out over a longer period of time remains to be seen. But at this point, India will stand firmly behind her.
Okay, all right. Mr. Aminur Rahman, I also want to ask you whether this conviction, what does it mean for Bangladesh? Any protests that are expected for the political stability as well? What does it mean for Bangladesh?
The people of Bangladesh actually expecting some kind of political violence ahead of this verdict. And if you see the streets of Dhaka, it was almost empty. because people afraid that there will be some violence after giving the verdict. But still, there is not much violence happening in Dhaka and other places. But still, people are in fear of a political violence situation in Bangladesh. Aam League is the outstate government party now, but they have a very what is it? Support and people back, and they will remove. That's what people think.
Okay, all right. I request you to stay with us. We speak about the implications of the same. At times now, I have spoken to Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal, the former Home Minister of Bangladesh, on his and Hasina's conviction. And here's what he said in that exclusive conversation with my colleague Rishabh.
Mr. Khan?
Yes.
Hello, sir. This is Rishabh calling from Times Now.
Yes, please.
Sir, the ICT has convicted you on 5 charges under section, 32A, 32G, among others. What is your first reaction to this?
You see, this tribunal, I don't believe this tribunal because, you see, I'm mentally worried about something. Can you give him, send your question in writing? I shall give you the answer.
Sir, I just wanted to understand your reaction to this because in an interview to Times Now, Madam Hasina has said that she does not agree to any of the charges. These charges are nothing but vendetta, and she says that her return to Bangladesh would only be dependent on the political scenario in Bangladesh. Now that you, along with her and other, has been convicted, what do you say?
You see, I do believe, I do agree with our Prime Minister, our leader, Sheikh Hasina, what she said. And according to me, in here, all the crime, all the death were is under conspiracy. You see, I'm in a bad shape now. Please send your question. I should give you a full answer.
So, Rishabh, this was your conversation with him, speaking exclusively. Take us through the details of the conversation and how, in your previous conversation with Sheikh Hasina as well, what she had mentioned and what can be expected from the verdict.
Well, what we are given to understand, there are 2 things here that we are talking about. First, Sheikh Hasina. Sheikh Hasina is very defiant. She says that whatever is happening in Bangladesh is being done to, affect the peace, sovereignty, and freedom of Bangladesh. She also says that Bangladesh is a very new country. There are certain things that needed to be done in Bangladesh. People have taken things otherwise. She also says that her return to Bangladesh would only be dependent on the political climate of Bangladesh, and now after this conviction, things look very difficult for her return. Apart from that, she also says that, leadership in Awami League is not a family enterprises. Awami League was there before her. It will be there long after her. She also speaks about elections and all. About this verdict that was yet to come in when we spoke to her, she said that, all the charges against her are nothing but political vendetta, and she categorically reject all the charges. Now, Asaduzzaman Khan Kamal, we have just spoken to him moments ago. The moment the verdict came in, we got in touch with him, and he says that this whole court is of no use. He actually rejects the court order and goes on to say that he supports Sheikh Hasina. So remember, this is one thing, that Sheikh Hasina, while in absentia, while on run, she is on exile to India, she still commands good support, and that's the reason that we are seeing on the streets of Bangladesh for last 3 days.
Yes.
There are protests, there are arson,
and what kind of justice is this, isn't it? With so many questions being raised on the fact that it was not even a fair trial. Rishabh, my apologies, do stay with us. We have Colonel Arsan Singh on the broadcast with us. Colonel Arsan Singh, Sheikh Hasina being sentenced to death on charges of crimes against humanity.
No, sometime back I was on your channel, and I did say in the morning that this is, this verdict is a foregone conclusion. And well, I know how the judges were influenced and intimidated. It is happening all over the subcontinent. You see, it is happening in Pakistan, and it's happening in Nepal. It is happening in Bangladesh, and different kinds of Gen Zs. That facet of democracy we are witnessing. Thank God, till now we are safe. But she did so much for Bangladesh. Bangladesh was one of the fastest growing economies, in South and Southeast Asia, almost 7.1, 7.2%. And well, I mean, there are forces, geopolitical forces that wanted some kind of a dispensation, and that the Yunus dispensation, we all know this man was in France when he was just suddenly para-dropped here. And tell me one thing, that if say a few lakhs or people decide to gather and they decide to unsettle the government, so you para-drop anybody. What is the legitimacy? And if the head of the government today in Bangladesh does not have legitimacy, actually he has come through a soft coup. So the leader of the country is he is illegitimate, and so is this decision. So is this verdict. And well, I am sure that India, I mean, whatever verdict they may give, because matters are very cyclical in these countries. Things change within hours, within days. So I'm very sure that the whole thing will be, she will be a beneficiary of that cyclical order that we have witnessed for so many years, and she must wait here. She must wait for things to take a turn. And I'm very sure the kind of protests we saw today by her supporters, she is down but not out. And I said, that 32%, 33% of the vote share that she commanded has not just evaporated.
But
that is what happens, when there is in countries when there is no smooth transition. And I'm sorry to say, our Americans are very happy with this kind of transitions all over the world. And then they talk big things about march of democracies and etc.
But Colonel Arison Singh, that is what I want to come to next. This trial, the conviction, and previously the installing of the Yunus government as well, does it not indicate that even if elections are held, it would not be held in a fair manner? So even if in the coming months it's going to be held, is the state of Bangladesh going to be in turmoil for not just the coming months, could be for many months in the future? Because it does raise questions on the democratic process because of the trial, the conviction, and what happened previously.
You see, if this man was honest enough, if he really deserved the Nobel Prize, then this man would have first stabilized the country. Now, by these political machinations through the judiciary, he has destabilized the country, for times to come, and I can bet that under these circumstances, you are absolutely right. There is a big question mark whether the elections will be held or not, and if it is held, whether it is how fair or unfair it will be. It is anybody's guess. So you are absolutely right, and our problem is that whatever happens in Bangladesh, it reverberates. It has got impact on India. Remember that we share 5 of our states share boundary with Bangladesh, and this definitely will have an impact.
Okay.
If it did not have an impact, then Sheikh Hasina and Taslima Nasrin would not have been in India. Isn't it? And we have every right. We have every right to influence things in Bangladesh, which is in in the interests of security of our country. I have absolutely no doubt about it.
Okay. Colonel Arsan Singh, thank you for joining us on the broadcast. That's your view. Mr. Amanur Rahman, I want to raise the same question to you as well. What Colonel Arsan Singh was speaking about as well, and what many have been asking. Will the elections be held in a fair manner in Bangladesh? Is the credibility and even the future of Bangladesh at stake here?
Well, you can see the political situation here is already so much turmoil, and there is so much disturbance and mistrust among the political parties which already participating in the election, except Arm League. Except Arm League, the political...
My apologies, I'm interrupting you for just a moment. I'll come back to you. We are breaking updates now coming in. This is the first reaction from Sheikh Hasina. And in their distasteful call for the death penalty, they reveal the brazen and murderous intent of extremist figures within the interim government to remove Bangladesh's last elected Prime Minister and to nullify the Awami League as a political force. That's the first statement coming in from Sheikh Hasina. Rishabh getting us that update. Rishabh, this is the first reaction from Sheikh Hasina after the death penalty.
Well, definitely, the first reaction has come in from Sheikh Hasina, and this is coming in on the official letterhead of Bangladesh Awami League. It says the verdict announced against me have been made by a rigged tribunal established and presided over by an unelected government with no democratic mandate. They are biased and politically motivated. So, in a way, Sheikh Hasina now officially rejecting the order that has come in, the verdict that has come in from International Crimes Tribunal in Dhaka just minutes ago. This is the next thing, and she further says that in their distasteful call for the death penalty, they reveal the brazen and murderous intent of extremist figures within the interim government to remove Bangladesh's last elected Prime Minister and to nullify the Awami League as a political force. So here, defiant Sheikh Hasina has spoken, and this is first you're hearing on Times Now, the official reaction coming in from Sheikh Hasina, that she is rejecting this order and has called this a distasteful call for death penalty.
Okay, all right, that's the first statement, and I'll come back to the reaction from you. Do tell us the first reaction from Sheikh Hasina, where she has also rejected this conviction completely. Mr. Amanur Rahman, you were talking about what the situation is in Bangladesh, and what do you make of the first reaction of Sheikh Hasina? This is after the death penalty. She goes on to reject it completely and has said that the call for death penalty has revealed the brazen and murderous intent of the extremist figures within the interim government.
Well, for sure, I will not. I'm not going to comment on what she is thinking, and already our court has given a verdict, so I'm not allowed to say otherwise. What I can say is that the political scenario in Bangladesh will be changed after this verdict, and obviously there will be more violence. What people are expecting. And we assume that there will be more violence after this kind of verdict, because if you give a death penalty and there is no way of political solution among the political parties, then obviously there is only one solution left here, and that is violence. And this is why people are afraid of more political turmoil in coming months. And if Arm League is not participating in the election, even after the election, there will be violence and there will be political turmoil.
Okay, all right. So, Rishabh, possibility of a political turmoil continuing in Bangladesh. In fact, questions also being raised after this trial and conviction on how the elections would take place as and when they take place.
Well, see, there are two things. What Sheikh Hasina says. Sheikh Hasina says that Yunus talks about free and fair election and bans the only party that ensured free and fair election in Bangladesh. This is what Sheikh Hasina told us in the interview. Furthermore, what she says that what whatever is being done is to undermine the sovereignty and peace of Bangladesh. Now, in this reaction that has just been, communicated to us by Sheikh Hasina's team, she says that this is a distasteful call for death sentence, and she has categorically rejected it. It's a long, very long statement. We are still going through the nitty-gritties of the statement, but this is the operative part of the statement. Having said that, in last 72 hours, since the ICT set out the date for this verdict, we have seen arson, disturbance, violence, rallies in support of Sheikh Hasina all over Bangladesh. And in last 24 hours, situation has gone so much out of hand that the DMP, the Dhaka Metropolitan Police, have to issue a shoot at sight order. There have been at least 32 crude bomb blasts in Dhaka in last 24 hours, and the DMP says that this has been done by the members of Awami League and Chhatra League. But the way people have come on streets, it showcases that the former Prime Minister still holds sizable support in Bangladesh. It won't be easy to write her off. It's something that is quite evident. Here, since morning, what we are learning in Dhaka, the Dhaka University students chose not to come to university. The public transport in Dhaka has been very thin because there is a call for shutdown, a complete shutdown by Awami League, which people are even adhering to. And that is something that is very, very important.
Okay, so in her statement, she goes on to say the verdict announced against me have been made by a rigged tribunal established and presided over by an unelected government with no democratic mandate. They are biased and politically motivated. That's a statement after the conviction and after the death penalty. Rishabh, thank you for joining us with those details. Thanking Mr. Amanur Rahman as well for joining us from Bangladesh, and Srinjoy Chaudhary for joining us on the broadcast. Slipping into a quick break here. We'll be right back.